these are veterans fighting PTSD that's using this natural sport. These are people who have overcome drug addictions, alcohol. All these people use natural bodybuilding as an outlet to say, no, I own my own fate. I am, worthy.
We're saying goodbye to the stigma around mental health with raw, real, and sometimes unconventional topics. Listener discretion is advised. All right, rock stars, welcome back to another Mind Muscle Pro podcast. I'm your host, Laci Davis, and today we have something super exciting. We have a dual pair of true rock stars, Marcus and Brittany, and they're going to share a little bit more about their story. They are the owners of the OCB Captain's Cup. Now, what is the Captain's Cup? It is a bodybuilding competition, but what we really like about this is when I looked this up, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is an all natural competition, which means you guys are doing drug tests and polygraphs before you get on stage to make sure that there is nothing other than the natural hard work of the human body happening. Is that right?
Absolutely. So yes, within the OCB Captain's Cup, all competitors that initially register before stepping on stage, they will go through a polygraph exam just to confirm whether or not they've used any of the banned substances on the WADA list, the same list that the Olympics use. And at that point, they're cleared to go compete on stage. And at the point of winning any first place award, then they are subject to a urinalysis exam right after stepping off stage. So there's someone waiting for them with a cup saying, hey, let's go, and then you can celebrate.
That's kind of intense, isn't it? Like,
It is.
hey, let's get real personal real quick and then go do your thing.
Awesome.
So when it comes to this whole, why was it important? Because this is your organization as far as the Captain's Cup. The OCB is the one that has these regulations around it. Why was that important for you guys when choosing what association to be connected with?
That's a great question. So I wasn't always I was always natural. So I've never taken drugs, but as far as, performance enhancing drugs, I always competed in federations that didn't have any testing. So when I started to get into the natural organizations, because I was always natural, apples with apples, I kind of touched different stages from different organizations, and the OCB was really the organization that kind of I felt was doing everything right. Making sure all the guidelines were being met, everyone was being polygraphed, everyone was being tested, and just the organization of the organization kind of struck me. So that's kind of why we chose the OCB. And she's a school teacher, so all her details has to be in a ducks in a row. Like, why is this happening? Why is this happening?
They have to be organized for it to work well with you.
Right. So
That's
it's definitely a no-brainer to go with OCB.
So Marcus, you compete, and Brittany, you are kind of the helping hand behind the whole scenes, making sure that all those ducks are in a line, right?
Right.
So that makes sense. So Marcus, when you were competing, you said you started doing apples to apples. Did you ever go up against other people who they weren't all natural and you were on the same stage with them?
Absolutely. Yeah. And just because the only reason I did that is because I didn't know about the natural federation.
I didn't know this was a thing until I looked it up. I was like, oh, that's so cool. That makes it so much better, right? Mm-hmm. This is reality of expectations that you can do naturally without alternative enhancements. It's just so cool what the body can do. Marcus, tell us a little bit about your journey and how this helped your mental health going through this process. You're a coach, but now you're doing these body competitions and spreading this awareness of this all natural realm that a lot of people don't even know exists.
Sure. So, with a registered dietitian background, I'm always to the book, right? So just because we're getting ready for a bodybuilding competition doesn't mean that we have to do extreme things to get there. Especially when it comes to the natural world, I feel as though people do unrealistic approaches to get stage lean. They look really awesome, and I'm speaking from experience. They look really awesome, but the metabolic damage and the hormones that bounce back at you after the competition is kind of what's supposed to happen when you approach losing weight in that fashion. So I feel like what has helped my mental health in the way I get through prep and the way I come out of competitions is that I take my time. And that's no different than when I would meet with a what I call lifestyle client, someone who just wants to be in shape, just wants to be healthier, it's the same approach for bodybuilding. It takes time. So more than 8 pounds within a month, I wouldn't prescribe.
In either direction, right?
Either way.
Yeah.
8 pounds a month in body fat loss, that's kind of the gold standard. What a lot of people do, even in natural bodybuilding, like we just want to get on that stage. We want to get there. And when the smoke clears, you know, our bodies pay for it.
Yeah.
So this is I'm actually, oh my goodness. I'm actually retiring this year, self-retirement. And I wanted to leave the sport in good mental, good metabolic health. So, you know, I'm being a example for clients and people who enter the sport to when you leave, when you get ready and you're done with the competition, you should be able to walk away and not want to eat 5 pounds of pizza. That's a thing, right? You get off stage and you just want to just gobble everything up because you starved for the past, you know, however many weeks, 12, 15, 20, whatever it is that they want to get there. So it's draining on the mental. So be comfortable spending time.
Were you always that health conscious as far as your mentality, or was there a time where you did the bodybuilding and you've experienced some of the downside of that and what it can do to your mentality?
100%. I've been on that other coin too.
Yeah. So
it.
is that part of why it's so important to you now, is you know what a toll it can take?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So even as a coach, when I'm coaching and I'm guiding people, I'm like, listen, there's no fast forward button. You know, in the non-tested leads, they're literally, the pharmaceuticals are like pushing a fast forward button. Definitely harmful to the inside, but you know, people just want
that end result.
So.
What was that like for you when he would, because how long have you guys been together?
We are coming up on our 19th wedding anniversary next month.
All right, we'll talk later.
Yep.
So did you see some of these competitions that he did where he came out of it and there was some strain on the mental capacity and the mental struggles?
Absolutely. And that was one of the reasons I was so grateful he found a natural, league and, just developed his practice skills and everything to make it, more manageable on the body, because hangriness is a real thing. Hangriness is real, and just, being preoccupied with, I've got to meet this goal. And, all bodybuilders still have real life to contend with, kids and work and outside responsibilities. So it's definitely, when one person has something that's preoccupying them, it affects, their entire circle. So I like the slow prep. Like it's
a little easier to manage.
It's easier to manage. And, as a loved one, when they do the fast prep, I would always tell them, like, man, your face is getting skinny. I don't like it. It makes you nervous. Like, he looks like this one day, and then the next morning he looks concocted. So it's like, no, I don't like it. So it's definitely, but, as with all things, when you learn and grow and get more research-based information on how to protect your body and take care of it better, you'll do better.
One of my favorite mottos in life is small changes plus consistency equals big results.
Absolutely.
I like it.
And that's something that I think a lot of people, to your point, they want that result as fast as they can. So part of my story is I've lost 60 pounds.
Congratulations.
But thank you.
That's huge.
But at one point in my life, I gained half of it back because what I did initially wasn't sustainable. Right. I had other things. I didn't know I had an autoimmune disease and all these other things working against me, right? But I wanted that end result so fast. And then I got it. And because I did it so fast, my body didn't respond well. So it was still what Johnny says is a common term of skinny fat. I've just shrank. I didn't have any tone. I didn't have any muscle. I didn't have anything. And then I gained half it back. I'm like, what was all this for? I was at the gym 2-3 hours a day. I was eating like crap. I barely ate, to your point, right? And it was only when I slowed down, I started doing it right. I started doing things with research. I started, nutrition, not calorie,
right,
a deficit, but not a deficit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference.
Big difference.
And so, as far as outside of taking things slower and being more intentional, what other things did you do to kind of shift that mindset from, I want to get there as quick as I can, I want to get stage ready as quick as I can, to, okay, I'm going to do it this way now?
Well, because I've been competing for 10 years,
Ooh.
and I see the progression, and I see the way my body responds, fast, medium, and now, nice and gradual, and it's night and day.
Yeah.
There's just no comparison, and the research speaks of that. I'm not like coming up with something, mind blowing, or this is facts, but we don't go with science all the time. We just go with what we know, what we feel we know,
Or what we want.
what we want,
What we want.
Yes.
what we want. So I mean, this is a what we call it, about half a pound to a pound a week is sufficient. Your body responds. Your metabolism is able to stay not screaming at you, for lack of better words, and it's just a better process. And I've been in situations where I lost a lot of weight. I lost like a 6 pound a week.
Holy
I'm sorry, not
moly.
6. I'm sorry, 6 pound a month. Not 6 pounds a week. 6 pounds a month.
I was like, we got to pray for him.
Yeah, right.
You see why I was
Right.
worried in the past.
I see what she was saying about your face all of a sudden going,
Oh yeah, that's what
Got a
happens.
donut.
But when you experience the different weight loss approaches to get to the end point, you know how better your body looks. Longer time can only mean one thing: better.
better.
It only can mean one thing.
And it's not even just how your body looks at that point. It's the mentality going through that. I'm sure it's not as draining. I'm sure it's not as taxing on your mind. I'm sure you sleep a little bit better.
A lot better.
A lot better. Now, I think that's something that a lot of people have just started recently talking about, is the effects of sleep in your health. But how does that affect with bodybuilding? Is there a huge difference there, or is it like that? I've heard different avenues. So I followed one person that says, the body only needs really 3 to 4 hours of real high quality sleep. And I've heard people say, you need 8 to 9 of real high quality sleep. When it comes to a bodybuilding competition, what's your recommendation?
I do think that everyone is different. I think that everyone is very unique in the amount of sleep, but I feel as though when you wake up and you should feel refreshed.
Period.
That's how many hours you need.
I like that. Yeah. That's good.
So when I wake up and I'm like, I'm ready to go, or am I waking up and my wife has to kick me out of the bed? How does that, that would be my recommendation. But there's some predictions that we can make about sleep and bodybuilding and nutrition. So we all know this isn't a theory, this is more law, but we know that carbohydrates help set the circadian rhythm at night. So, I would think about, getting yourself that last meal within 2 to 3 hours of going to bed. If you're having carbohydrates, that may be a good indication that you're probably going to have a good night's rest.
That's so cool, because, you wouldn't think that somebody who's talking about bodybuilding is going to be supporting carbs because of all this nonsense out in the world, right? About carbs are bad, carbs are the enemy. And here you are doing physique challenges saying, baby, have that carb meal right before you go to, 2-3 hours before you go to bed. You're going to sleep like a baby and be better for it. Like, I think that's super neat.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In the natural world.
In the natural world.
In the
natural
world.
Right. So.
Which is how the world ought be. Is that something I can say? I can say that, right?
We can stand up. We're pro. Yeah, we can stand up for pro natural.
That's right.
Yeah, we're the standard. We are the standard.
That's right. That's good. So as far as if somebody, I know a lot of people, they're going to the gym and they have these goals, and a lot of folks will say, my goal is to lose this much weight. My goal is to put on this much body fat, or not body fat, but lean muscle mass. And then at some point, a lot of folks say, I want to compete. I want to go for it. I just want to try. What is a good way that somebody could maybe tiptoe and see if that world is for them? I would say the natural world is a great place to start. But from a realistic, as a coach, what would you suggest to somebody?
So I want to understand the question.
If somebody wanted to, they've never competed, and they think, I just want to set being on stage as a goal. Mm-hmm. Where's a good place for them to start in the world of the natural?
I would say I would look at, because everyone is like a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. So is that person a person who eats fast food all the time and not really active right now? Is that person like kind of already doing
I would
things?
say this is somebody who's already doing something. Like, So, for example, a very good friend of mine, her name is Georgia. So, Georgia, if you're listening to this, shout out, girlfriend.
Hi, Georgia.
She has lost over 200 pounds. She is amazing. She's inspirational. She's gone on this journey and she's sharing it. And all of a sudden she posts, I want to do a bodybuilding competition. I want to do stage. And I just think that's incredible. So I'm seeing this trend where people they have these goals and they're meeting them and they're surpassing them. And eventually the progression is, the next goal is, I want to be on the stage.
Perfect.
So I had a good friend of mine who also did bodybuilding. He told me once, he said, Laci, if you can't dial in your nutrition on your own, you're never going to make it in that world. So is it, try to do the meal prepping, try to dial this in, try to do this, or is it focus on lifting heavier? Or
Sure, gotcha. So I got it now. So I would say that if a person wanted to, already doing things relatively well and they wanted to just go for that, I always like to shape the mind first because it's bodybuilding. Like what we're seeing is the shell on stage, but the internal, the mindset is everything. It's bodybuilding, but it starts in the mind. People think about bodybuilding, they think about the muscles, but the strongest muscle we have is here. And if someone is getting into bodybuilding who's already done amazing things, had a journey already, I'm going to say it's you versus you, first and foremost. Some people love this and some people, they just don't like it. I may not be the coach for everyone, but it's for me and all my people listening, they're going to be like, here he is again. Progress over placements. Progress over everything. Mm-hmm. Because it's you versus you at the end of the day. You never know who's going to show up. You never know who you're going to stand next to. So when you're getting ready for a contest, you said you want to go for this. It's just you. It's do this for you. Compare your photo to your photo. Don't go online and compare this person's body against your body. You're going to have different lines. You're going to have different physiques. It's just you. Go have fun. This is bodybuilding. If you're not having fun, then there's absolutely no point in doing it.
You need a new coach.
You need
a new coach.
Right. So that would be my thing. And I would start, everyone is going to be a little bit different in as far as what their approach is, but some things are pretty streamlined. Consistency, get your routine and keep that same routine. We're going to we'll find the routine that's going to work for you. Obviously we got some predictions that we can make. Hey, choose these lean meats, or protein. It doesn't have to necessarily be meat. I do prep people who are plant-based, but it's going to take a solid routine, and that's what Brittany's there for. She keeps the routine.
She's the coach's coach.
Yeah,
she's the coach's coach. At first, that was a kind of, I don't want to segue into something else.
Oh, go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
It was free flowing. Let's go.
So prep was she made prep like I'm only as strong as what my wife is gonna help me do, right? So when I say I need to open the fridge up and have multiple selections there, so I'm not eating the same thing every day. Mm-hmm. Like I need variety. So if that variety is there, that's how I like to coach my people. Like don't just eat chicken all week. I can tell you right now, you're gonna burn out. I can do the best thing that people do, I can do, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I'm thinking,
it sounds good.
It's okay. I like the energy.
Yep.
I love it. But that's not going to work. I know it's not going to work because 99.9999999% of the time it's not going to work. But variety over everything. So when Brittany's able to give variety and we collaborate and she's able to present variety in the fridge, then nothing's off the table. You can still eat sushi on the weekend, burgers and fries. You can still eat all those things and still compete. So people think about bodybuilding and competition, they think about starving and all the things they cannot have. But if you extend the time out, you can have everything that you've always had.
Man, you guys are getting me. I'm gonna get on stage now. Like,
let's go.
I can have sushi, man.
That's what we call a refeed meal. Some coaches call them cheat meals, but we don't cheat.
Yeah,
we don't cheat. We refeed.
I love that. No, that's perfect because what's the mentality of a cheat meal? Like, oh, I'm doing something I shouldn't do, and you feel bad, and then you feel guilty, even if it's planned in your nutrition plan, you still feel bad about it, right? Yeah. Oh, they're gonna get me on stage. Can I have sushi?
I saw your quads. I'm like, she looks wellness. I was just saying.
So let me tell you, my legs are my most insecure part about my body. I was ever since Peter Pan, Okay, you see
Peter
Tinkerbell?
Pan and those
You see
types,
No, not Peter.
Oh.
I'm talking about Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
Like she's on that mirror and she turns around. She looks at her thighs because it's closer and they're like this big. She goes, ugh. And I was in elementary school and I went, and so ever since then, but I get a lot of compliments now online about my quads. And I know I've seen things where people are like, how do I grow my glutes without growing my quads? How do I do this? And then other people are like, quads for days. And so it's been amazing for me in my gym journey of learning to appreciate my body
Right.
for how it's built. I'm quad dominant. And that's okay.
Right.
And that's fine. So when I hear something like from somebody who this is his pro job, he's a bodybuilder, say, girl, I saw those quads. Yes, like that means something, right? So that was cool. So thank you. Not to go off on my own tangent,
Sure.
but that's a little bit of my heart.
It's good stuff.
that's not a
20,
tangent.
hold on, 2025. I got somebody 2025 wellness.
Wellness.
Watch out.
So tell me a little bit more about the Captain's Cup. How did you guys come about and decide that was something you were going to do?
Well, as a competitor, promoting a show was kind of always on his bucket list of things to do, and I resisted for a while. I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But going to a bunch of shows showed me that it was a lot of work, and me in my planning mind, I always saw things of obvious things that could be better or different, and I just thought about how big of a commitment it would be.
Yeah.
And just, visiting different organizations and shows hosted by them, you can see the differences. But when he finally said, no, OCB is different, just look. So just, going in it with that mind of hosting a show under that federation that provides that much support and organization and integrity for the sport, it opened my mind a little bit, and just meeting with them and getting more information about why they do things the way they do and how they do it. It made me comfortable knowing that okay, we have the support to make it a show that has that integrity for the competitors, as well as something that I'm willing to attach my name to because it will be good, well, great in this in this case. So. And then it just gave me, that creative outlet because I see so many, if I'm sitting in a show or pretty much anywhere, I just kind of like Iron Man. I feel like I can see things and put them in places. And it gave us an opportunity to work together. Again, we run another business together and he's my best friend. So we're always together. So kind of gave us another project, so to speak, to work on. And I like it because we have our own lanes and we don't swerve into each other's lanes. Like everything that you see from the competitor standpoint, as far as, this will be great for the stage and this, I'm like, well, you can kind of do that part. Or and everything else from the organization side standpoint and spectators, I do that. So it gives me an opportunity to do all the things that I wanted to fix at other events and gives him an opportunity to spoil athletes in the way that he would have liked to be spoiled as a competitor. So I like it.
Oh, I like that a lot.
I love it. So it's fun.
It's fun.
I'm doing the parts that I love, and I never have to touch the parts that I have no interest in, and vice versa. Like
It's a good team.
and so for me, to Brittany's point, I've been to a lot of shows, a lot of events, and some were like awesome, and then some was like I paid $100 and I got a bag with 3 flyers to go to other shows. What are we doing here? This is unacceptable. Not to call out, what shows, but I knew that we needed to do something different. And I wanted a show that was local. I've been, again, bodybuilding for 10 years. I've been in the sport for 10 years, and the network is strong here in the Tampa Bay area, and I'm like, why not? Why not give back to the athletes? Again, I competed for 7 years in non-tested organizations without even knowing, and I'm like, that's unacceptable. If people knew about the natural tested organizations, they can, and it plays with your mind. It's even though I was pretty good though, I was even pretty good in the non-tested tested.
Hey.
But I can see how it could drive a person down trying to compare your body to an enhanced body. You're doing all, or maybe make you jump ship and go over there.
Yeah.
But that natural organization when I saw the way it was laid out, what they did for the athletes, I said, I want to be a part of this. I want to be able to give back to athletes. When it's all said and done, I still want to be around the sport without having to compete per se, but fill someone else's cup.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing with the Captain's Cup, and we're making it a community event, something that the community can come out and see. These are healthy people. These are healthy bodies. These are obtainable bodies. Wow, this is an amazing show as well. Like, so I get to see things that I'm inspired by, and I also get to have fun. And I mean, that's why I'm doing it. That's why we're doing it.
This is something that people can go to even if they're not competing or have a loved one competing. It's open to the public.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And if somebody was coming to this and they saw, hey, this is what you can achieve naturally, like you said, I couldn't imagine people not getting inspired. Is this something that you would recommend if somebody is maybe going through, they have some mental health concerns or they have some body image concerns? Would you recommend an all natural type of show, or would that be a realm that maybe they shouldn't play in? Hard question.
People would have to come to a show, in a natural bodybuilding event, and they would answer all of their questions.
Just come to the show.
If they came to the show, you would see that these people in body people seeing the muscles and the flexing and the posing, but deep inside, and again, this is bodybuilding. People use this as outlets. These are people. You'd be so surprised. These are people. These are veterans fighting PTSD that's using this natural sport to do that. These are people who have overcome drug addictions, alcohol. These are people who mental health. These are people who's always told they were fat and ugly. All these people use natural bodybuilding as an outlet to say, no, I own my own fate. I am this person. I am, worthy. I can inspire other people. That's what bodybuilding is truly about.
And I'll say, to add to that, they haven't always overcome. They are in the process of overcoming, and you see them.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
So for the transformation, so there's different levels of this. So you can go and you compete at an all natural level, or you can come in at a non-judged transformation level. And what is that? What is that like?
So the non-judge transformation division gives people an opportunity to show off their transformation, whatever that may be. Sometimes it's a physical transformation that you can see. Other times it's all about that mental piece that we talked about. So they may have been a person that, needed support with controlling their eating, or, getting that under control, or, like Marcus mentioned, they're going through substituting this behavior with a harmful behavior that they may have had in the past. So whatever that transformation is, there is a place to showcase it, because they all deserve to be celebrated and encouraged. And that's my favorite. That's always my favorite division.
Cool. That has to be so inspirational. You have to walk out of this feeling like, just elated and on cloud nine.
Absolutely.
And what's possible for the human body and the human mind. I liked what you said earlier about the mind being this really important muscle that you have to work. Mind, muscle, pro. That's what we're all about here, is working that muscle out in your mentality and your brain, and making it stronger and better so that you can go out and do bigger and better things for you, your life, your loved ones. Right. So Mind Muscle Pro is really excited to be connected with OCB and the Captain's Cup because of this wonderful vibe that you guys put out as far as do it right, do it healthy. It doesn't have to be this strain on your mental health. It can come out and be inspiring. You can just have a transformation from this to this. And it's just really a unique pairing. And I feel like the synergy is there. And I'm really excited to see where we're going to be at a year from now as far as this collaboration, because of the alignment. I can't wait to hear the stories that we're going to get to learn working together. And I can't wait to hear about how this one individual is just going to butterfly off and become this super inspirational creature, when right now maybe they're not doing so well. Like, I just think the next year is going to be incredible. And as we partner together, Mind Muscle Pro being, the organization that we are, and we're so proud of everybody who's able to work that mind muscle, right, and really make the transformation. We are super stoked to be the ones that are presenting the Transformation Award and being that sponsor and being connected with you guys in that way. So thank you for that honor. We're really looking forward to it. And is there a story because you've been doing the bodybuilding for 10 years and now you have the Captain's Cup. Is there one kind of Cinderella story that sticks out for you?
There are a few for me because just
ahead.
being a people person. If I'm reading a book, it's a biography or a documentary, or if I'm watching TV. So those stories are always my favorite. I know last year we had one competitor who experienced paralysis from a car accident, and she worked her mind and her muscles, and she was able to compete on stage. And it's a person that I had been to the gym with and talked to, but I didn't know that was her story.
Yeah.
Until she registered for the Captain's Cup. And another competitor, he actually coaches him. He was born with a metabolic condition that he has to battle every single day, and it's not easy. But he uses bodybuilding to help with everything, the physical aspect of that condition and the mental draining aspect of it. And again, I knew him, but I didn't know how deep his story was. And those are the things that people in the audience need to know, because if you just go into any bodybuilding show, from the average eye, you just see a bunch of people up there with abs. You have no idea.
You see a bunch of pretty people.
Right. So I always tell Marcus, like, the true work is that time before the stage. Like, you just see the end product. And there are so many instances where I wish there were opportunities for individuals to share, no, this is what I've been through and this is what you're seeing today, because they are not the same.
No, they're walking miracles.
Right.
So I feel like that can translate even to non-bodybuilding world, right? If you go into a gym, any gym in the whole world, and you can make a snap judgment on somebody, but you don't know whether that person is doing a warm-up or if that's their max.
Right.
You don't know if that person is dealing with an injury. You don't know if that person is dealing with addiction. You don't know what that person's fighting. And on my online presence, I get a lot of women who have severe gym anxiety. I don't want to go to the gym and be judged. I don't want to go to the gym and be judged. And it's almost this ongoing conversation I have online of, baby girl, the people in the gym that are in the gym regularly, honey, they are rooting for you.
Yes.
They are rooting for you. Most of them, if they're even looking up, right? Because we get so in our own world. Some people are just there battling demons, and we right here, and we're just gonna do what we need to do, battling through it.
Right.
But if they look up and they see you, they are rooting for you more than judging you. But we do get, like, especially online, I think a lot of folks are used to trolls, and so they think that must be how people actually are in the real world, versus that 30-second clip that they get to see.
Great point. Yeah, I mean, for me as a personal story for, like, bodybuilding, how it's helped me from the top down. As you mentioned, you can take it further into life. Like, when you're doing something like bodybuilding, you're so routine, focused, and locked in. Especially if you're doing it right, you approach it with patience. If you're doing it right, you approach it with a full-on commitment if you're doing it right. And those things could just go into life. It makes me a better father, because I'm like, if I can weigh every ounce of meat and carbs and fat, like, why can't I pay attention to the smaller details of being a husband, a father, me to my clients, like, it's the smaller things like that. So if you can lock in on this, then you can lock in on other aspects as well. So, yeah.
And those pieces are important. That's why when we were talking about that meal prep and the things that we do, we joke and say, like, everything we do is a family business. We have 2 teenage daughters, and everybody in our house plays a different sport. Everybody. So you can imagine the calendars are crazy. So that meal prep component and what the refrigerator looks like in our day-to-day routine, that's a whole family thing. So obviously we're not just boiling chicken breast with no seasoning, but those options are in there. But we make it so that we're instilling these healthy habits to our daughters, so that they're not in their 30s trying to figure out how to get skinny overnight. Like, we're teaching them how to fuel like an athlete.
Yeah.
And, having a healthy relationship with food, so that they're not afraid to eat a slice of pizza, but they know pizza is not a dinner option every night.
Right.
But
balance.
Right. Keep teaching them that balance, so that they know, hey, I have soccer practice tonight, so I need to pack this in the morning when I leave. And those are life lessons that if you start them early, I mean, you'll just be better off. I wish I had done these things when I was younger, but we have a 13 and 15-year-old, teaching them that. We're hoping that we're putting those nuggets in them, so that when they are older, they have the tools and the solid foundation, so that they're not balancing those battling those, eating disorders or body image issues and different
Disordered.
disordered eating, and so that's important to me as a mom of girls. All of our bodies are different, and we're going to, take care of what we have.
You have to be building so much self-confidence in them by
That is
doing
my
it that
goal.
way. You have
That
to,
is the
because
goal.
they're going to understand food as fuel, as how it can fuel you for the day that you have, whether it's an athletic one or you need more carbs because you need more energy going into it, and not be so focused as kind of what we did in my growing up period of, I just want to be skinny.
Right.
I just want to be skinny. I feel like there is a movement from, skinny to people wanting to be strong.
Yes.
And fit.
And
Yes.
fit and fit and not
That
that
is the
skinny fat.
message in
It's
our
not
house.
it's not always how do I get smaller, how do I get skinnier. It's how do I get a little more athletic by being a little more athletic, by eating like an athlete, by
Right.
training like an athlete. Like you don't just get that by starving yourself. You have to be an athlete to look like an athlete.
And having different goals. Like we don't have scale numbers when our girls are talking about, I want to do this better. I want to kick a goal better. I want to be faster. I want to, whatever that is, it's not a number on the scale. It's this
So
this
healthy, Mom.
behavior. Like it's, I mean, when you learn better, you do better. So
Learn better, you do better.
right. And that's the goal. Like we're
We
so
need
outside
an award
of
for
Captain's
Mom of
Cup.
the Year.
Thank
The
you.
Captain's Cup's great, but let's get a Mom of the Year
Yeah.
award over here, and Dad too, because Dad's playing that role. It's a
Right.
family.
That is what
business.
we're most proud of. Captain's Cup is cool, but Raina and Peyton, those are the true trophies.
Oh, that's okay. I'm in. I'm going. When is it? When is it? Where is it? Give me the details.
Saturday, March 9th at the New Tampa Performing Arts Center.
Oh, like local.
Local.
Oh, I love it.
We are Tampa born and raised, so it's only natural that it's natural
Oh,
that it
cool,
stays
cool.
home.
Well, there aren't too many of us.
That's it.
There are not too many of us,
Yes.
guys. So okay.
Campaignians.
All right. Well, March 9, Mind Muscle Pro fans, if you want to come out and see if bodybuilding is for you, or if you just want to come out and support two amazing people doing some good things in the world, we'd love to have you, and come chat with me. Maybe we'll do some interviews on the spot there and see what happens.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much for being here today. And if anybody has any questions, make sure to check out the OCB Captain's Cup online. And they do have an Instagram. Mr. Marcus Harris is on Instagram, so we'll make sure to tag him in this feed when it goes live. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much.